Welcome to all of you to my channel, We Are Diamonds. Okay, so today our topic of discussion would be wetlands. As you all know, recently on 2nd February, everyone across the world celebrated World Wetlands Day. Even we Indians celebrated it. So today we will analyze this topic, wetland in particular, and in general we'll learn about how to analyze environment related news. Okay, so this video is in continuation of the newspaper analysis series. So I request all the newcomers to check out the previous videos too. I assure you that you will definitely learn something new from these videos, even if you are aware of such topics. Okay. Okay, so let's start. Recently in the newspaper, you must have seen many articles regarding wetlands. Okay, I have posted few of them. See this one. This article basically talks about potential of tourism. Haryana government is trying to explore the potential of tourism in the wetland area. Similarly, wetlands performing the role of shelters, providing shelters to flamingos in Mumbai. Then, then recently on World Wetlands Day, two Ramsar sites were identified as wetlands. Okay, okay. So now, as an UPSC aspirant, how are we supposed to study this topic? So first of all, what we need to be aware of, what is the wetlands? Wetlands are ecotones transitional zones between terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems. So these are basically nothing but if we have first ecosystem and second ecosystems. So at the margins of both ecosystems and the overlapping area, we find the ecotones. And such ecotones are known as wetlands. They are referred to as wetlands if um, one of the ecosystem is terrestrial, other one is aquatic. Okay, and such wetlands are basically marked by high biodiversity, diversity with respect to plants, animals, genes. Then, this overlapping area basically experiences change in biotic and abiotic factors with respect to these two ecosystems. So biotic means plants and animals. Abiotic means temperature change, then light factor, sunlight factor, water, soil factors. All these factors, physical factors, change. Even not just physical factors, even atmospheric gases also, like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, all these factors, methane. Okay, and also these favor particular kind of species. Okay, so this is a basic definition. If you see from environmental point of view, there's another definition also, which is usually used to explain to the common man. So these are the areas of marsh or peatland with water that is static or flowing, fresh or saline, including marine water with depth of which at low tide does not exceed 6 meters. Okay, so now what all ecosystems are included in wetlands? It basically includes mangroves area. We, we all know mangroves lies between this is sea area. On the transition between sea and continental area, we find mangroves. Then peatlands, low-lying areas, marshes, rivers, lakes basically river bank area. We have river, so we have this is river bank area. This is land, and this river valley. So these river bank area basically, sorry, categorized as wetlands. Then deltas, alluvial cones, terrae belt, floodplains, flooded forests. These are mainly marshes only. Then earlier we used to recognize rice fields also as wetlands, but post wetland rules 2017, now rice fields are no longer recognized as wetlands and coral reefs areas. Okay, I hope definition is clear and what all um, types of wetlands. Okay, so facts. First of all, uh, to answer, we need to have some facts. So you can use this fact also. As per UN report, 85% world's wetlands have disappeared. And we want specific data with respect to India. We have already lost one third of wetland, sorry, and around 4.63% of geographical area in India is wetland, as per ISRO report. Okay, you can use any of these facts, whichever you find it easy to remember. Okay, then another facts that you need to be aware of: there are few Ramsar sites. Now total Ramsar sites are 48. Earlier there were 46, but recently on the 2nd February 2022, two more have been identified. Okay, which are those? We have identified Bakhira Wildlife Sanctuary in Gorakhpur area. This is the region. Then Khijadia Wildlife Sanctuary in Gujarat region. These two have been added into earlier Ramsar sites. Earlier there were 46, now 48. So now you have to remember all these 48 sites. UPSC has been asking questions on these in pre and means both. So there is no shortcut method. You have to remember all these. These are a minimum. Although we do have wetlands around 500 plus, but um, since we are humans, we can remember only few. So you have to remember all these 48. These are the minimum, which you all have to remember. And one more thing for pre-specific, what you need to keep in mind that you don't have to go into depth of these wetlands. If these are wetlands, you'll find that in the books you'll find on deep. Suppose we take example of Deeper Wheel, you'll find many facts of it. You'll find 10, 15 facts. You don't have to remember all these things. What you have to do is you have to because see, we can't remember all the facts. It becomes very cumbersome for us. So rather than remembering all the facts, what you need to do is analyze it from previous year question perspective. How UPSC is asking the question on these. So basically, suppose deeper wheel. So UPSC basically main focus is if deeper wheel is present over, UPSC would be asking location. It would be question would be based on location, or location would be physical location, then climate of the region, soil factor, if any river passes through the region or state to which it belongs. Then also it can ask us in such areas if there are any nearby wildlife sanctuary or national parks or biosphere reserves, and and some important animals or plants. That is it. You have to analyze from these perspective. So basically this demands the interlinking of environment topic with geography. It can also link it with society, tribals, if any specific tribal is found over these regions, these wetlands. So this is how basically UPSC would be asking. You don't have to go and search as deep as possible with respect to knowledge of these wetlands. No. Okay. So this is how basically, and moreover, if you'll have the basic ideas of all wetlands, these facts, this will help you in attempting pre also. Even if you're not, if UPSC asks some new feature of such a wetland, still you would be able to attempt it, because through elimination technique, you can still have better chance to attempt that question. Okay. So you have to remember all these 48, and these are not tough to remember. You just have to just take a printout of this map and do one thing: just look at the map every day, and with time these places would be familiar to you. Okay, this is how you have to approach. I know it is very challenging to recall all the names, but you will have to, because paper has been merged now. Of you, IS paper has been merged with Indian Forest Service. Their pre is also held with us with our paper. Since Indian Forest Service main focus is on environment, so UPSC has started asking questions on environment. So at least 20 questions are coming every year. So you can't leave such maps. and go. Okay, you have to score, and these are easy to attempt. Okay, some cramming needs to be done, but such questions can be attempted. Okay, okay. So now let's move to. We have studied about wetlands locations, few wetlands that has been identified. So now let's focus on importance of wetlands. Now, just as forests are called lungs of the earth, wetlands are basically referred to as kidneys that regulate water, filter waste from the landscape. Okay, so these are very important. These are basically in these provide ecosystem services. You must have studied about ecosystem services. There are four ecosystem services: provisioning, regulating, aesthetic activities, and supporting services. These are the services that are provided. Ecosystem services. You can write these also. In case you don't want to write these, you can expand these ecosystem services. So what are the services that are provided? Okay. First of all, they purify our water. Wetlands are the great filters. They trap sediments and remove pollutants, which helps to purify water. Okay. Then this wetlands store our water to ensure supply during dry periods. They are like giant sponges. They store water and then slowly release. This helps to deal with dry seasons with little rainfall. During rivers, what happens? During lean period, water flow in the rivers begins to decline. So in such period, wetlands usually they supply water to rivers. Thus, flow of river is maintained, which is essential for the survival of aquatic organisms. Then they prevent floods. Usually, what happens? These usually when river is flowing, when river water level increases due to heavy rainfall, usually what we experience within 3 to 4 months of monsoon period, we experience 75 to 80% of annual rainfall. Alright, so in such a period, what happens? Usually, water level increases up to the bank level, and what happens? There is spilling of water, leading to floods. So wetlands usually present over they tend to absorb this excess of water and thus minimize the impact of the floods on the nearby areas. Okay. Then they help in the recharging water because they are absorbing water. So water is seeped down into ground and groundwater is recharged. This role of recharging groundwater is very essential in cities. What is happening now? We are encroaching the wetlands in the cities area. So because of this reason, ground water is not getting recharged in the city areas. Okay, and then it helps to check the erosion also. Then it provides shelter to aquatic organisms, like we had seen in the earlier uh, news that it provides shelter. Um, Flamingos are being provided shelter to. Sorry, wetlands are providing. sorry, wetlands provide shelter to flamingos in Mumbai wetlands. Here, so Mumbai wetland has been flocked by flamingos. Alright, then check erosion. Then they protect biodiversity. Many different kinds of creatures depends on wetlands. So insects are attracted to the plants, provide uh, plants that provide food. Then plants also provide food for other animals like fish, frogs, and birds. Okay, so it helps in preserving the biodiversity. Then recreational activities, wetlands are being used. We find usually wetlands are lake areas. They are being used for tourism, fishing, boating purpose, sailing, sports purposes. Right? Even we read earlier, Haryana is trying to explore wetland area for tourism purpose. Then they also play the important role of nutrient recycling, biogeochemical cycle. You must have heard. So wetland basically represent the water phase of biogeochemical cycle. And most of the very famous example is of East Kolkata wetlands. It is the world's only fully organic sewage management system. It treats cities' urban waste and is used to grow vegetables. Now, what is happening? This is a wetland, East Kolkata wetlands, Kolkata city. We are providing urban waste to this wetland. So this wetland is treating this urban waste, and since by treating urban waste, nutrients are being filtered out. So now such nutrients are being used to cultivate crops, vegetables, and this crops is being provided to Kolkata. So circular economy is being created. So you can use this example for in case of circular economy also, and also in solid waste management. That is a topic of environment. Over there also you can use this example. Okay, we need to explore such wetlands in our cities. Okay, to manage our solid waste. I hope importance are clear. Okay, so now let's look at the causes of depletion. So what is happening that a number of wetland is declining. We have already seen in India we have lost one third of wetlands, and across the world we have lost 85% of wetlands. So what are the reasons behind the depletion of wetlands or loss of wetlands? First of all, we humans, as we know, population is rising, so we need habitat, we need homes, also we need areas for our recreational activities. So because of such reasons, we are encroaching over the wetlands. In in city areas, we hardly find in Delhi, Bangalore. In such areas, we hardly find wetlands are left, and this is one of the reasons why urban floods are rising. Right. So these such cities are becoming vulnerable to disasters. Then another cause of depletion is invasive species. What is happening? Algal bloom, other species, they are invading the ecosystem. So in ecosystems, suppose there were earlier organisms, they were dependent on this this number of resources, but now some new organism enters. So this will also encroach over this resources. So now competition is rising over these resources. So survival of fittest, and such invasive species, they don't have predators in ecosystems, so they are able to survive, and the native species, they tend to die. So what is happening? Wetlands are losing their ecological character. Then pollutants are being dumped. They are being used as the place to dump the pollutants because of rise of consumerist culture, use and throw culture. Then climate change is also affecting the biotic and abiotic structure of the wetlands. Then over exploitation of resources, overfishing, overgrazing, aquaculture, sand mining. Then also main reason is poor governance. What is the main reason? Basically, wetlands, they usually come under the state list. So state governments have the responsibility of management of wetlands, not the central government. But state governments have poor record of managing the wetlands. They are not serious with respect to wetland protection. Then also recently, what has happened? There has been dilution of wetland definition. As I said earlier rice fields were also included in wetlands, so they were under conservation process. But now rice fields have been included. So with change of wetlands definition, 65% of wetlands have been excluded now from the definition of wetlands. So they are out of the ambit of conservation process. Okay. Then also there is a one more issue. Our wetland rules specify the term vice use of wetlands. But this vice use of wetlands have been subjected to subjective definition. Every state has different definition with respect to vice use. No more is in tune with sustainable development. Okay. So they manipulate this term vice use and are using it to exploit the wetlands. Okay, so these are the causes of depletion. So now what all steps have been taken? First of all, steps that has been taken is international convention, Ramsar Convention. It was held in Iran city, Ramsar, in 1971. So it basically defines the objective of convention. It says there should be wise use of wetlands. So what is the definition of wise use of wetlands? Even UPSC has asked previously in mains, uh, definition of wise use. It means basically we need to maintain ecological character within the context of sustainable development. So this is a simple definition of wise use. It simply says maintain the ecological character. So basically it talks about sustainable development. There should be balance between people, public, sorry, not public, uh, planet, and profit. I call it as 3 P's to recall. So basically, people, wise use means people should determine how it should be used. There should be public participation. All right. Then traditional knowledge needs to be tapped. Then at the same time, we need to also ensure economic benefits. So economic benefits should be there. So wetlands should be first of all properly demarcated. Okay. Then practices like fishing, grazing, sand mining, they should be allowed to such an extent that it doesn't cross the carrying capacity of the wetlands. And tourism should be ecotourism. Then treat the waste before releasing into wetlands. Then circular economy, as we have seen the example of East Kolkata wetlands. Then planet means ecological character. So what should be ecological? Demarcate wetlands. Then give time for regeneration, prevent invasive species. Then afforestation needs to be done, wildlife conservation. So these are steps that needs to be taken. Okay, so this is what the wise use of wetlands definition is. Then also under Ramsar Convention, it gives Ramsar list of wetlands. As we have seen above, there are 48 Ramsar sites of India. Okay, then in addition, this has been asked in prelims, I guess in 2015-16. What do you mean by Montague's record? It basically says it includes those wetlands where changes in ecological character have occurred or are occurring or are likely to occur because of human activities. And two wetlands are included in this record of India. One is this Loktak Lake in Manipur, and another one is Kyoledio National Park. This is in Rajasthan. Okay, Chambal area. Earlier, Chilika Lake was also there, but now it is no more. So only two are there, Loktak and Kyoledio. But UPSC can ask this question also. So earlier, Chilika Lake was also there. Okay. Okay. Then it also mentions about some criteria for identifying wetlands. We don't need to remember all this. We won't be able to. Okay, but just you need to mention that it specifies some criteria. Okay, so now this is the international level step that India has taken. Then at domestic level, what we have taken first of all legal step. We have set up a law, Environmental Protection Act 1986. Under this, we have framed Wetlands Rule 2017. Earlier it was 2011. In 2017, it was amended. Wetlands Rule 2017. So what was the main features? Basically, it changed the definition of wetlands. So now it no more includes paddy fields, human structure for drinking, aquaculture areas, okay, salt production areas, and recreational areas. So these areas are no more included in definition of wetlands. So because of this, 65% of wetlands were excluded. Then it provides for decentralization of power. Basically, it means it empowers states to identify and manage the wetlands. So state wetlands authority has been set up, and at the central level, National Wetland Committee, it will just provide the guidelines to states, guidelines and monitor the steps taken by the state authorities. But actual management and identification would be done by state authorities. Okay, so these are the rules. And so these are the steps that have been taken. So now, if we see, wetlands are important ecosystem, and it needs to be conserved because it provides a lot of, if you see, a lot of ecosystem services are being provided. It needs to. So what should be our way forward? Way forward should be simple. You can. There are three ways to conclude. You can use any of these. Sustainable development wise use, as it clearly mentioned Ramsar Convention. You can mention all these and explain in brief about these. Sustainable development includes people, planet, profit, 3 P's. And also you can conclude with this year's theme was Wetland Days. Theme was Wetlands Action for People and Nature. UPC can ask the question on this also. Explain this. This is basically talking about this only. wetlands action for people and nature. Matlab, we need to ensure wetlands for the people and for the nature. People involves public participation and profit aspect, economic aspect, social aspect, and this involves planet, nature, environment aspect. UPSC can ask this also, or you can even use 2021 environmental day theme, restore ecosystem services. Okay, and this was a question basically UPSC had asked in 2018 mains. What is wetland? Explain the Ramsar concept of ice use in the context of wetland conservation. Cite two examples of Ramsar sites of India. So we have covered all the aspects. Okay. So I hope this session was really helpful to all of you. We have covered wetland topic comprehensively, and you must have learned a lot out of it and how to attempt such environment related questions. This general pattern you will find is applicable to all topics of wetlands. Oh, sorry, environment. Okay. So thank you all for this support. Okay. I hope I request you all to please provide give me a feedback if I am not able to teach properly, or if I am teaching you well. At least I'll get to know uh, how is the response of the lectures, and also so that I can modify videos as per your demands. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a nice day ahead.